welcome to our morning sea lion demonstration. On the point, you'll see this is Rebecca, and over in the far side is Christina. Looks like Rebecca's going to be working with our 8-year-old California sea lion, Callie, this morning. As we go through this demonstration, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our sea lions as individuals, sea lions as a species, and how and why we take care of them here at the National Zoo. So as I said, this is Callie. She's an adult female sea lion, and she came to us from the Pacific Marine Mammal Center in California. She is a rescue sea lion, along with her sister, we call her sister, Summer, who's in the back right now, and Christina over there. Who are you working with? Let's see your bucket. Sophie. So Christina is working with Sophie. So we're going to focus on Rebecca and Callie here out front. We do a lot of training with our sea lions here at the zoo, and it's a really important thing that we do, and we do it for a number of reasons. First and foremost, we do it for husbandry-related behaviors. Anybody know what husbandry means? It's kind of a fancy way of saying medical-related behaviors. So we train all of our sea lions to participate in their own health care, and it's pretty great. I don't know if anybody here has tried to wrestle with a 300 or 400-pound sea lion, but they're not going to do anything that they don't want to do. So we try to train them to do all of their medical-related behaviors voluntarily. So right now, Rebecca is asking Callie to do what we call lay down and turn around. So you'll notice she puts her hand down and she turns around. Callie will present her hind footprints to Rebecca. Now, the reason she presents those hind footprints is because it's an important place for us to work with these animals because they've got nice big veins between those hind flippers of theirs. So we can actually draw blood from between their toes. You can see she's practicing there with a syringe. It doesn't have a needle on it. But if Callie ever got sick, the vets could come down, say down and around, Callie would turn over, and we'd be able to draw blood from between those toes of hers. Now, we also give them yearly vaccinations. So we'll also practice putting that syringe right in their lower back, so if they ever need to have vaccinations, they'll do that voluntarily too. They also do all sorts of different behaviors. I'm doing this breathing. Okay. All right, great. So you see that cone there? You might be able to hear Callie, but she's breathing. Now, we're doing this because it stimulates anesthetizing the animal. So if these guys ever needed to be anesthetized, we need them to breathe on cue. Sea lions can hold their breath for an extraordinary long time. And if they're holding their breath, they're not going to be breathing in any of the anesthesia, and they're not going to be metabolizing it, so they're never going to go to sleep. So we train them to actually breathe for us, so if we ever do need to knock them out for any reason, maybe we need to do a probe in their belly or whatnot, then we can by asking them to breathe into a mask. They're also trained to, she's going to brush her teeth. How many of you guys brush your teeth twice a day, every day? Okay, everyone should be or not. Well, we also brush our sea lion's teeth for the very same reasons that you guys do at home. You might notice something unique about Callie's teeth, or all of our sea lions for that matter. Anything different about Callie's teeth? Can you see them? They're black. Now, that's not because we obviously don't brush their teeth. We do. We brush their teeth all the time. But a sea lion has a natural beneficial bacteria that grows on the surface of those teeth, and it helps to digest food. So seeing a black tooth on a sea lion is actually a normal thing. We would not want to try and scrape that off because it wouldn't be good for the animal. We also work with them, and they are trained to do eye drops. Sea lions, both in zoos and aquariums and in the wild, are very prone to eye problems. So they're all trained to allow us to apply drops to their eyes in case they ever do have injuries or ulcers in their eyes that we need to treat. They'll voluntarily let us do that for them. They're also trained to let us do ultrasounds and x-rays as well, which is pretty great. So they're trained to present their lower abdomen, which is very helpful. A couple of years ago when Callie was pregnant, we could actually use the ultrasound and see the pup that was in there. And actually, Sophie, the little sea lion back there that Christine's working with, is her pup. So it's pretty great. You can talk about, do whatever you want, and I'll just explain. All right, so Callie is dancing right now. Any guesses what that might do for her medical behaviors or for her health at all? It doesn't have anything to do with her physical health. It does, however, have a lot to do with her mental health. So that's the second reason we train our animals. The first is the husbandry. The second is mental stimulation. population. Obviously, these animals are extraordinarily intelligent. There is not enough for us to just take care of their bodies. We have to take care of their minds, too. And so we do that by training them new and fun and interesting behaviors all the time. I don't know about you guys, but I would hate to be doing the same behaviors over and over, especially if it involves needles or x-rays or toothbrushing. It would be pretty boring, pretty stressful all the time. So we do fun stuff with them. We get them to dance or retrieve items or groom or do all sorts of things just to get their minds moving. In fact, at any one given time, these guys might be learning 10 or 15 different behaviors each. It's kind of a fun thing. We get to choose what behaviors we want to train our animals. So right now, Rebecca is probably working on a behavior herself, and she will be the only one that is training that new behavior until Callie gets it just right, and then she'll pass it off to the rest of the team. And we do that, you doing high jump? Okay, so here's a perfect example. Rebecca is working on training Callie to do what we call the high jump. It is a water-based behavior, and it's a really good demonstration of how powerful a sea lion can be and how quickly they can move in the water. So Rebecca is using a training pole, a target pole there, and she at the very beginning started by training Callie just to touch her nose on the tip of that pole there. And she started out kind of low. And then over time, she started moving it up, moving it up, moving it up. And now Callie is almost getting her entire body out of the water. Now eventually, once this behavior is completely finished, we won't be using that target pole at all. It'll just be one heel with her hand. And Callie will be doing high jumps on her own. So it takes a lot of trust and a lot of patience for us to work with our animals, but it's a lot of fun too. But a lot of people ask us, well, how do you train us to do all of these things? And it's actually pretty easy. It's very similar to the way you probably learned to read. You didn't start reading long novels right at the beginning. The first things you learned were your A, B, and C's. And you added to your A, B, and C's by learning small words like cat, dog, mom, dad. And then you learned little short sentences like see, spot, run. So you learn all these things in succession. You add on to what you already know until you're building up to something really big. And that's what we do with all of these guys. And I just heard Rebecca say we're almost done. We didn't even talk about the difference between field and field. You got a little bit of That's kind of a famous sound, huh? That is the sound of a sea lion barking. A lot of people confuse seals, sea lions, what's what. So these are, like I said, California sea lions. But it might be confusing when I say that they're also seals. So here's how it goes. Seals, big title up at the top. And then it divides into two categories. You've got your true seals and your eared seals. If you look at these guys, you'll see if they get Sophie right back. Would you think that these are eared seals or true seals? Eared, yeah, I heard you have ears. Very nice. They're called eared seals because they have little ear flaps coming out of the center of their head. And that's what makes an eared seal an eared seal. They're called otariids. Another thing that makes an eared seal or an eared seal is their flippers. If you look at would you say that her front flippers are small or large? Pretty large, yeah. She can physically clap those flippers together if she wants. She's the one that barks. And she also does something unique to these guys. She can literally walk on all fours. And notice that she can tuck her hind flippers under her body. You see those hind flippers? She's bending them under, rotating hip bone, just like you and I have. She can literally walk on all fours. And that's because she does have that flexibility in her hip bone. Now, if you're talking about a true seal, like the next door neighbor, Chelsea up there, she's a gray seal. When you go look at her, I want you to look for the absence of the ear flaps. I want you to look for the really short front flippers, because that's what a true seal has. And they also have a fixed hip bone. So a true seal cannot tuck their hind flippers up under their body at all. When they move on land, they literally scoop on their bellies because they can't support their weight at all. So, after you're done here, take a gander up at Selkie in the next pool over, and you can see the differences pretty easily once you know what to look for. You about done?
Oh no, she just found a toy on her own.
She found a toy.
Good catcher.
Christina's excited. She just said she found a toy on her own. One of the behaviors Christina is training Sophie to do is to retrieve. And it's a great behavior because it allows us to have the animals get items out of the pool that don't necessarily belong there. Sometimes do that where you found it. Yay, look what I got. It's really good. Sometimes people will drop batteries or coins and things like that in the pool that can be dangerous to our animals. And so we reward them very heavily for bringing stuff back to us that might not necessarily need to be in the pool. And they'll bring the toys back as well. So that's pretty great. And Christina's excited too. It's fun to finally get to a point where you've worked on the behavior for a long time and then they finally get it. All right, Sophie says she's done. Goodbye. All right, so I think that'll end our demonstration for this morning. Again, my name is Rachel. If you guys have any questions, please come talk